middle of the morning. We rented a machine. You gotta get the machine. Yeah, manuals, one day we get here. It was available today. We were not.
Right, I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call's been taken.
Yes.
A motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Made by Steve,
Second.
second by Dan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the previous committee of the whole minutes,
So moved.
moved by Kathy,
I'll second.
second by Becca. Any discussion or changes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Citizen comment, I don't think there's anything unless.
No.
All right, finance and purchasing, budget update.
All right, I included a draft budget in your Google file. Just for everyone's awareness of where things currently stand. As you're well aware, between levy limits and expenditure restrictions, there really isn't that much room for maneuvering. What we're currently looking at is essentially as far as revenue on our levy limit. We did have 1.03% increase for new construction. So that was added in. And then as far as our expenditure limitations, the state set us at 2.7% to match inflation, plus 6% with our increase. So that gives us a 3.3% increase in our expenditures. Working with all the directors, the increases that I have from them are essentially inflationary to keep track as costs increase. The one item you'll notice in here is for public safety, that budget appears to be down. That is an effect of hiring the 7th officer. I talked with the chief on this. Given the current complications that we've had in hiring that position, it's expected that the soonest that an individual could be brought on would be April or end of April. So I factored in that into the budget, and that did two things. One, it brought expenditures in line with revenues, and then also kept us under the expenditure limitations that the state has on us. I do have in here a surplus applied. I was able to get that from Public Works, again, because Jason has had difficulty filling some of his spots this year. There is a surplus as a result of that we're able to apply to make the budget equal or balanced. If there's any questions on this currently, I can take them at this time.
You're not concerned that like the perfect person could just magically appear and you wouldn't kind of would be Daniel's role or something? I mean,
Yeah, I think if I plan on advertising probably at the end of December, early January, probably the length that I can, 6 to 7 weeks. If magically something came in, we try to do a budget amendment or something that we would have to do. We work it in. Try not to negative, but it seems like every time we hire a 7th, we always lose somebody. So, if that would be the case, then I would work that out with Scott and we'd figure out a way to pay for it if we actually got a really good viable candidate.
Since these are our draft numbers, I am trying to work in a little bit of flexibility. So if a situation like that did come forward, we should be able to work it into the budget.
I mean, I feel like the only way to make sure you will get that is by not planning for it. So
Right, exactly.
Right. Very, very good. Easy to understand. Any other questions on the budget? All right, protections of persons and property. Police Department report.
We had a pretty busy month. We had 311 total incidents. We had 89 traffic stops this month, which is a lot for us for 1 month. Also, our newest officer, Officer Grace Roarborn, is off field training, so she has been on her own. It actually fit in nice where she actually fit in when Hunter left. So she just slid right into his rotation. So that helped us out quite a bit, with not having to pay overtime and being able to staff the city to the best we can for coverage. Some notable incidents we had on September 3rd, we were dispatched to a residence on Taft for an unknown person that entered the residence and walked into a child's bedroom. We did arrive at the location within just a few minutes and the subject is gone. We are still investigating that. Looks like they entered through an unlocked back door. And this would have been around, I believe, 2 or 3 in the morning that this occurred. So that can, obviously people are out and about and we're still looking into that one. On September 10th, Officer Doty did make an arrest for an OWI, also an arrest for marijuana possession. On September 11th, we responded to a domestic dispute that was after the fact. We did arrest an individual who's going to be facing charges for DC and domestic abuse. September 14th, we had some of you might have heard of this one. We were dispatched to a vehicle versus pedestrian accident. This one was determined that a juvenile was struck while riding an electric scooter into the street from the sidewalk and was failing to stop or slow down prior to entering the roadway. So basically, the vehicle did not have an opportunity to even stop or see the subject in time. That's a constant issue we're having in town with these electric scooters. They are just darting out into traffic. We don't have an ordinance on this. Obviously, they gotta follow the rules of the road. But we are having a lot of problems. We've done some Facebook posts on it. We've had a lot of individuals in the city call us and message us on this. It might be something we may have to look at from an ordinance standpoint in the future. But the juvenile was transported by ambulance. I don't know about any type of injuries or whatnot. But anytime a car hits somebody, it usually is not good.
A broken pelvis.
What's that?
Yeah, broken.
A broken pelvis, okay, and no citations were issued to the driver since it was not the driver's fault of the vehicle.
What street was that?
Who was that? Hoover.
Uh,
It looked like there was an obstructed intersection or an area where there was some bushes. And when he darted out, the vehicle would have no time to stop, so. September 19th, we did participate in the homecoming parade as well as we attended the homecoming game. So we had a presence at the game. And the last thing we had was also on the 19th, Officer Vokes was dispatched for a welfare check. Captain Schrader was there as well as Officer Doty. During this incident, it was determined that the individual would need to be transported for a hold. While the individual was gathering belongings, the female subject pulled a gun on our officers. Luckily, the situation was quickly diffused. She was taken into custody and transported to the hospital for a mental hold. She was also charged with going armed with a firearm while intoxicated, disorderly conduct, and use of a dangerous weapon. So no matter what the calls, no matter what city you're in, we still have the same issues that other cities have. Obviously, this individual was intoxicated, had weapons, was a vet. We have a lot of vets in our town. With PTSD and so forth. So it's one of those things that, we obviously have to be cautious on. So, but other than that, if you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to answer them.
All right. Fire Department review.
We had eight calls for the month of September. We had 3 fire alarms. 2 of the alarms were for system issues. The third was from a child activating the alarm. That was in one of the schools in town. We had 2 car accidents, one in the city and one in the town of Charlestown. A mutual aid call for a structure fire with Greenbush. an odor of something burning down on Main Street and an investigation for a possible gas spill at the high school in the Tech Ed area. Update on the water truck. It's looking like mid to late May for delivery. Midwest Fire will be contacting me later in the year with the next update. And I spoke with them as of yesterday. They gave me that time frame. Received a 50-50 grant from Wisconsin DNR for communications equipment for our 50% or what their 50%, however you want to term it, would be $3,991.68. That money will be used for replacing portable radios on Squad 24. I applied for that. I want to say in the May timeframe. The fire department will be doing training as a group on ice water surface rescue. The classroom portion will be done on November 17th, and we'll be doing hands-on that night for about 3 hours. The balance of the class will be after the first year. We actually enter water off of ice. Glen Beulah Fire Department will be providing the certified instructors. We'll be taking the class and using their equipment to enter the water. Taking the class to give us a better understanding of the steps involved for ice water rescues and the necessary equipment. Right now, we're on a lot of Mavis cards to assist other departments. And we've had 2 instances at Talmadge Community Center where we've had individuals in the water there or fell partially in. Just necessary training. We're going to get up to speed on that. And then hopefully down the road that helps us. We're looking at also joining in with the Calumet County dive team in the future. But this gives us a good base knowledge to get started. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Emergency management?
On September 11th, I participated in an integrated preparedness planning workshop at the county with county emergency management. We went over some updates, some plan changes that we're making to the county level. So it includes things that we're looking at in the city of New Holstein, be in their plan so that it would help us with funding down the road, possibly. Kind of like the Honeymoon Acres situation. Don't know if it'll come from FEMA or not, but at least we're in the books. And then next year, there's a lot of planning coming up with mobile command post at EOC, which is the Emergency Operations Center activities. They're going to do a drill sometime in the summer and fall. County EOC positions and training there. So there's a lot of things to get involved with and see how it's done at the county level. That'll trickle down to our level.
All right, thank you. Anything from the courts?
No, you didn't have any updates.
All right, city buildings and grounds?
All right, in September, we took 3 ash trees. I thought we had all the ash trees out. We found 3 of them in Reineke Woods. One because it fell over by the prairie. It just caught the edge of the trail. 1 pine tree we also took down in Kiwanis because it was dead. We also took 8 trees down in the nursery. It would be like the end of Van Buren because me and Scott had a complaint from a homeowner who was on the property line and they were actually falling and leaning toward our house, and some of them actually were dead standing. So we removed all 8 of them, and actually I stopped there today and they actually cleaned it up really nice. It looks beautiful. They took all the brush out of the line fence. All the rocks are opened up. Looks nice. We also closed and winterized the pool. Not the building. We actually did that on Monday, which would be part of October's. But we did it Monday with Doug. Worked out excellent. Real well. Also, we string trimmed Wisconsin, Calumet, and Main Street because Trinity was getting rough looking. And then that same weekend, Trinity Lutheran had their soccer tournament. Heard it was really good. I didn't have any calls this year. Like last year, I had a couple calls. This year, I had none. We also today at 3:15 to 5:15, we had 3 interviews for Rick's position because his last working day is October 22nd, coming up fast. All 3 were really good interviews. And then that's all I had for my report. But also, as long as you brought up the electric scooter, just so you guys know, I literally with the work truck almost hit one. I think I reported to you. I don't know if I said anything to you, Eric. I had a kid come right through the stop sign. There, he blinked an eye. Luckily, I seen him, slammed on the brakes, and it was that close. And he just kept going. He didn't even kept going right through the stop sign. And I also this weekend, I don't want to bring this up too much, golf carts, I've seen two different ones, not in the parking lot, but actually on the grass on the side of soccer fields. I don't think they're allowed, but I wasn't gonna say anything. That's something we want to look at too. There was two of them parked on the. I know we opened it up for more electric vehicles. And I know golf carts can be under electric, but I didn't know where that fell. So that's something if you're looking at tightening things up,
Yeah,
not that all of a sudden we have golf carts all over the
I
park.
think it's just ATV.
On the grass.
oh, and here, golf carts in the city.
They
As far as
used
on the
to,
road.
they used to on the road, yep,
Yeah, golf.
because prior to your time, they allowed, remember we had the routes, we had to make the old
Right,
routes
yeah.
across the highway and all that stuff. You were probably part of that. Where it had to be specific streets were only allowed, and it was a whole ordeal. But every city street was, but you could only cross the highway at certain spots. Remember that whole ordeal? Yep, exactly. So they are allowed, as far as I know, still today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Sometimes it's a part of the soccer association.
but when
I don't know if they're doing.
when
it or-
families are watching it on the sideline.
Oh, that way, yeah,
there,
that makes
and then they
sense.
drive to the next field. I mean, where are we gonna allow this to stop? I'm not against it because obviously if I'm in the park working,
Mhm.
we're using the ranger from spot to spot, cleaning dog stations,
Mhm.
working on the soccer fields. But I'm going there on a Saturday and Sunday and they're driving, around the park.
What
It's
do they
like,
do on the tournament day? Like.
correct.
Yeah.
And Trinity,
Well, even.
perfect example,
Trinity's
Trinity
doing
had
it.
like 8 of them rented from Jim's Carts. So I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. Or do we, like, when they take out a permit for like Trinity, maybe it should be included in their permit that they are allowed to run golf carts. So in case it gets brought up and people are like, why are you doing this? Well, we have a permit.
Right.
Or soccer, maybe soccer association needs to take, when they could, have a rule again with them that says they're allowed to use golf carts for soccer.
And it could be labeled as something in the windshield saying it's,
I'm just throwing it out there what I see.
I was gonna say a sign at the park entrances is allowed. I just think
Right.
people don't know.
Right now.
I
But the
also-
problem with that, exactly, Becca, is like, we have signs up right now, we know this, that say no electric bikes. Well, we all know they're allowed, but people put up signs for that,
Who's people? That people, not us, not the city.
not the city, that's all.
And
I'm
then
saying.
that they get taken down.
I don't know if I cut them all yet or not.
But I mean.
I'm sure there's some out there, let's leave it at that.
I think it goes to the electric scooter conversation too. Because my own daughter has one and had many conversations with her. But I just think it's a thing where there is not one avenue where kids are ever taught safety anymore, like we used to, we had a more captive audience when you had the bike rodeo many, many years in a row. Like you even had to take like bike safety classes when, like back in the whatever 80s. There is no such thing anymore. And so everyone just sort of is winging it, which is terrifying, but that's just the nature of how everything is now. So they get these electric scooters, but no one's teaching them where how to behave on them. And then their kids, they don't have a very good understanding of until they get hit, and then you know how scary it is. But it's kind of like your first car accident. You realize it till it happens. For some people, it's retail, but I
Especially on a
don't.
scooter, let's be honest. I mean,
Right.
if I hit that kid at 25, 30, I mean, let's be honest, it's not good.
So then what do we do?
My
Right.
assumption is to let everyone wear.
Some of them.
Seen some.
Mine has to, or I take it over, whole thing away, but then I'm
Yeah, I've
same on
seen
bikes
them,
though.
but not all by far.
They cruise.
Some,
Oh, yeah.
Even not the helmets they wear. Their show at that point, they're not designed to crash at 20 miles an hour.
against a car,
Or a tree.
a vehicle, or
I don't know the answer. I'm just saying that I think it's sort of part of the whole larger scale problem of there's no standard anymore that everyone is doing except for driving cars. I mean, that people still take driver's ed and have to learn the basics. Even that's different once people don't know how to do basic stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to handle it.
police department watch it and continue with your Facebook posts.
Yeah,
and-
we have, and I know we've talked to some kids that have gone through stop signs, but they're 10, 11 years old, can't write them a ticket, try to educate them.
Put the lights on when you pull them over.
Load in the back of the car when
I-
you talk
Put
to
them in the
them,
back.
You know, I know that
including my kid.
if we're not.
I know that, I know I've talked to the SROs about trying to bring this up in the schools, but I know certain things are kind of touchy on what you can and can't bring up. And talking some of these classrooms, so a lot of that's gotta go through administration. Some stuff gets shut down, some stuff they're okay with. But I know I've talked to Officer Chalmo about the scooter issue. And it's typically the middle school kids that are doing it, middle school and elementary, but mostly the middle school is really where it's really, you're seeing the majority of these kids. And some of these kids, they don't care. It's in one out the other. They're gonna do whatever they're gonna do, unfortunately. You know, but we certainly will keep an eye on it.
Can you confiscate them? Scooters? I mean, I did some stuff when I was younger and guess what? My dad had to come up here and pick some stuff up. BB guns and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
No.
if they take it away and then their parents gotta come up here and get it out, obviously it's a lesson learned.
Yeah,
I mean, just think. Is it, can you legally? Say, hey,
I'd have to
we're
look
done.
into that. I wouldn't wanna take somebody's property
I mean,
without knowing for sure if we can do that, because some parents may be great with it, but some parents may not think that's very good and I don't want to see the city get sued over something without
well, I
getting.
know, but we're gonna make an ordinance. What are we gonna do with the ordinance? Like, what are we gonna, either you're gonna take them away or
If you-
what's the ordinance gonna
If you
say?
put it in the ordinance that you can do that, that would be different. Have it in the ordinance.
If we're gonna write an ordinance, like, what are we gonna actually attack, like, pinpoint it to, what's a discipline factor on it?
Yeah, and if you have it in ordinance, you definitely could. We don't have that though, but if we did,
If we did, that's what I mean.
Yes.
What would we add to it?
if we did, I think we could do that then.
Maybe you have kids, little kids operating motorized vehicles that go fast that they're not licensed. They don't, so that's a problem. I mean, that's a huge safety problem. And what do you do to address it? I mean, I don't know, it doesn't seem.
Yeah.
It's bad stuff waiting to happen, basically.
I know in my ward is a problem, on Melissa and Jordan. Cause I've had a couple complaints from constituents. The kids are having a great time, but it is dangerous. They're going down the streets and the sidewalks.
Just don't follow the rules of the road. They run through stop signs. They dart out in traffic.
Can you, maybe the ordinance says something about the parent or guardian having a fine if their kid. It's really, if there's not gonna be a standardized way of teaching and licensing, then it has to be up to the parent to do it, and so the consequence would have to fall on them or
That-
not.
That would have to be, that's a Sorensen question. Sorensen question if that's legal.
Rec director, I don't believe there's anything. Personnel, city hall cleaning position.
Yes, so at City Hall, we had a part-time cleaner that would come in once a week. They also cleaned at the airport and some of the other parks. She recently got another position, so she has left. We put the position back up on Facebook and on the city's webpage. We are currently receiving applications, but wanted to make the council aware of that situation. Hopefully, we'll have somebody after the period close. If not, we may have to look into contracting temporarily just to have those sections cleaned. But we'll be working on trying to get that position filled as soon as possible.
And when is she done?
She's done already.
Go toilet duty then?
It will be this Friday. And garbage.
Wait for them, you can ask for a raise now.
Well, make sure you share that duty with others.
Have we ever like looked into hiring it out at all?
Well, we have a cleaning service that does city hall at night, right? A couple nights. a
Oh,
week.
that's been gone for years.
Yeah.
This is what that was.
That's been years,
Oh, really?
years. Yeah, we had the librarian for years doing it. Justine. He was doing it for a while and then she was done and then we found another, or I think Dee found somebody. Yeah. She's doing an excellent job, but because I don't have time for it. We're down 2 people right now. You know, don't worry, we're trying to hire for somebody, but we just don't have time for it. That means mopping the floors, community center, you know, what I mean, you gotta keep that up because rent's rented a lot. Strong women are in there twice a week, or twice a day, weekly, every day. So it's used a lot.
Give them a mop, part of their exercise program.
That is part of the rental is
I'll say that to them from you.
You leave it in the condition that you enter, but
I
not,
mean, and most people do, don't get me wrong, but it still needs to have an actual
you still have a lot of traffic going.
right on. Because we do all the outside bathrooms, as in we keep that in house. The inside, so it'd be like firehouse, airport, city hall, community center. The inside, those were with hiring, or, you know, somebody.
Um, Old business, discussion, Weston Dunn attorney at law for the municipal court attorney.
Yes, just wanted to close the loop on this with the council. The agreement was signed with Weston Dunn. That was in your packets. I've talked to Jan, so he is aware that the change has taken place. He was scheduled to handle any cases that were here on the 7th. Those were resolved before they went to court. But Weston Dunn is also aware and will be working with Jan on a transition. So that item is closed.
A new business discussion action, Kiwanis Park baseball field.
So we're looking to renovate one of the infields at the Kiwanis Park Diamonds. We were essentially took over 2-3 years ago. We've been trying to figure out ways to make that just a better overall playing surface. That fast tracked a couple weeks ago, the league that we're affiliated with passed a rule that changes the base length of the field that we play on for one of our teams. So right now, all of our teams play on 60-foot bases. The league just passed a rule that is 70-foot bases. So we've been considering improving that playing surface anyway, both for safety and for just playability, making it a little bit easier on us as volunteers taking care of it. Right now, if it rains, we're going to spend 3 or 4 hours there, hand dragging, doing all the work on it. But now we need to do something because of that league rule that was passed. So we went and got a proposal from someone who specializes in playing field. So there's landscapers in town. There's a lot of local people, but a ball field it's just a different animal. It's not a golf course. It's not a yard. It's a very different type situation. And those landscape people have said it themselves. So we found someone, he's out of Sturgeon Bay, Hutchinson Property Service is the name of the place. Gave us a quote. It's roughly $36,000 for him to dig out 5 inches of whatever the old mix is. He's not, I think it's probably just sand, gravel. I don't know if
No,
we have any idea what the base is. I mean, it outdates any of us. But what we're looking to do is get an actual baseball mix in there, which will help with drainage. It'll help with playability. It'll make better hops for the kids, all that stuff. It'll get rid of the weed issue we have coming up because that organic material, the weeds just grow. He says this stuff will eliminate the need for that, and it'll just make it a lot easier for us to actually prep it and work on it, as well as now fit with what the league is requiring. Cutting back that outfield where the dirt meets the outfield now, we're going to cut out some of that sod, as well as we've got a lot of drainage issues there. The same as everywhere in the park, right? Areas flood, soccer fields get flooded, but part of what he told us is some of the areas where we have grass along, like where the dugouts are, that pools the water. The water hits that grass and it pulls it all in. So we started looking around some of the other fields in the area and they all have that all cut out. So that was his proposal to us, cut out that grass that's along the side there, have the whole thing be infield dirt, which makes it, just easier for everything, better for the kids, better for us selfishly. So essentially we're asking if the city's willing to help out in any way financially. $36,000 the quote. We're working with him to figure out some ways that we can keep some of that in-house too. Potentially we dispose of the sod that they cut out, that can save some trucking costs, things like that. So we're still working with him on that. We did receive one private donation already for $5,000. We're going to continue to try to secure more, but really looking to try to get this done this fall already. Because if we wait till spring, sometimes late spring and there's snow in that parking lot and that's wet, we can't get equipment in there. So we're trying to get it done potentially this fall already, because if we try to wait till spring, we may not be able to play games for the first couple of weeks. The good part is we're not trying to establish grass. We're just cutting out grass, so that helps. But to let some of that mix settle, we can still top dress with the material we've been buying from Horst and Chilton. But we're hoping to get it done by November. the guy told us he has some availability. Hartfield will take him maybe 2 days. He does work at, I think with the Timber Rattlers, the Sheboygan A's, I think he did all the work up at Netting Park too. So it's a pretty complete process for him to get it knocked out in a couple days. So basically, we're asking if the city's willing to contribute anyway financially to help us get it done.
Is that something, Jason, your crew can help with?
No, that's way beyond our.
Not with
I mean,
the
even
actual
just
infield stuff.
trucking the dirt or,
Yeah, we could,
you know, I'm
but
not saying,
no, understood, yeah.
And we,
I mean, if you gotta take a lot of dirt out, you can put it on one of your trucks and haul it away.
Yeah,
to
they
the
could
heater.
stockpile it in the parking lot, don't get me wrong.
right,
It's, going back to the question, I thought you want what's going in. What's there now is sand with topsoil mix. Don't ask me why. Keel Sand and Gravel did it, and that's what they used for many, many years. It's a sand and topsoil. You think when you mix topsoil, you know, Brad, I mean, come on. You're shaking your head going, it was, blows my mind, but that's what it was. It was a sand and topsoil mix. So what do you think's gonna happen? Weeds grow. It's wet.
Probably, we stuck a lot of money in other things that was probably more wants than needs on that field. And that field is probably one of the worst in the leagues.
Big time.
And it's sad to say
It
it
is.
is because we have nice lights, we have nice fences in places that we probably shouldn't have invested money in fences, but when the field's pretty much unplayable, and anytime you get a small rain, we gotta cancel it, and they're the associations owe $200 every time we cancel a game.
or we've got 4 or 5 guys taking off of work.
All right,
To go out there and- I mean, we signed up for, it, I understand that, but there's a way to make it playable for the next 15 years.
Well, it was how many dump truck loads they had to bring in from Opaka, was it?
Yeah, it's like 10 dump truck loads, so yeah. Gonna take all 5 inches of that mix out, put specific baseball mix in, laser grade it all, and then once they put the top dressing mix in, laser level it again, as well as put the plugs where the bases come on and off, because we'll have to change base links now. So it's something else that right now we'd have to dig it up by hand. It's probably half hour each one in between games we'd have to do. This will make it easier to just plug and play, move the mound lengths, have it pitched so that when it does rain, water drains off the field, doesn't pool in the middle.
Yes, Jason.
So, and you know, Gene, but years ago, like when the fencing, perfect example of how we spent money on Funky Field. Years ago, they had a baseball reserve and there used to be 20, 30,000. You know what you're talking about. Is that all gone? I mean, is that reserve wiped out? Does anybody even know where that is?
Did you say the city had a reserve?
Correct. You know that, right?
I've been
I don't wanna
going through the
misspeak, Gene,
accounts
but
line by line and I have not seen, I believe it is wiped out.
I know, Cullen did, like, he just wrote us a check for some last,
Okay.
there wasn't a lot, but
Yeah.
there was some left. I think it was just donated over.
Yeah,
I know there was years ago, there was a lot of money. Then the fencing came and that obviously hit it hard because we did all new fencing at Funky.
Yep.
That was a big hit. And I don't know if the baseball took some lights out of that. You know what I mean? It was. Okay, so that's gone. So that's not an option. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've never dealt with those prior to me with Eugene, like how did the city, because every time we did something on like a baseball, the city paid for it. You know what I mean? Slash,
I think we
Baseball
budgeted
Association.
for it.
what's that?
I think we budgeted for it. I mean, I think those lights, that was a 3-year project. I think we set money aside and you guys set money aside.
Does the revolving loan, like, is there any options for nonprofits to like utilize, like, even if it was a loan that they pay back or something? To like help front some of it up front, but then they kind of like we did with the sign thing or whatever. Like work out a deal where they pay it back over time. But because I think that.
But it's hard because it's a city property. I mean, am I looking at this wrong, Becca? Like, if they're putting it on the city-owned property, you know, a
Wasn't
sign.
the lion sign, the electronic sign, isn't that also?
Oh, yeah, it is. You're got me there. Yeah, it's
Well,
on
no, I-
fireman department. I know, it's a weird scenario, right? Because you want to charge them to put it on a city-owned property, because I'm assuming, take ownership of that field. The city will still own that field, correct?
Yeah, they own everything.
Yeah, that's.
That's where I'm going with this in my head. It's
Right,
like,
but it's like if not for the baseball association, it wouldn't have to happen.
Agreed.
But I was trying to, what I'm thinking is like the tricky part is it's imminent, like you need it, you want to have it done in the next, before the snow flies. So it's not that necessarily the city would say, yeah, we'll cover it or whatever, but even if there would be a way to advance it, then it would be paid back at like a low rate or no interest or low interest or something where it's not a full financial obligation, but we have the money that you could have it done, but then you pay it back.
We've done that with others.
Where we're at right now is we have the funds that we could just do it ourselves, but what makes it tricky is with the new building plan, we've already taken quite a bit in donations in. And we're not wanting to sit on that for 5 years, right? And start doing like side projects. It's just not a good appearance. So we're going to do it this fall regardless. It's just a matter of how much we're gonna empty our own pockets on. Again, we're gonna try to fundraise on. This is all happening really quickly for us, but
I mean, I still have a baseball line item. I know the money isn't put in there anymore. But I mean, you're talking a huge amount that I'm under budget this year, right? Aren't we talking maybe 200,000 that I would be under?
I'm
So
still
is there a
working
lot of
those
room?
out, and that's related, to staffing, so. If we wanted to do, I wouldn't suggest all, but it would be feasible to take, say, 5,000 out of the surplus. And help fund the project.
And we have to do a budget amendment because now you're going labor to capital.
Yeah.
We have to do a budget amendment to do that. But like going back to anyhow that you can give with trucking.
Which is
or-
fine, but
or
it's something.
tools or whatever. I mean, if he can knock off 10 grand because of, we're using city labor for 2 days, I mean, that's be a wonderful thing. You know, using some of our equipment to help the guy, I'm probably not.
No. Let's
That's a
it's
whole
not.
different animal.
We could get rid of the field, don't get me wrong, but that's minimum. I mean, Brett,
I
you know,
think it's the only thing you could do.
right, let's be honest. This is way beyond, right.
yeah, like,
Maybe a few grand you could save that way, but.
G&H is doing a local field and
There you go.
yeah, we talked to our guy about it and he said, yeah, they're excavators, they can do that, but there's no way to know for sure, right? If it's pitched right for a diamond and where the mound is supposed to be located and all squared away, they're very different things. So we've talked to the local landscaping companies in town and they're more than willing to help. They just know that's over their head.
Us too, I mean, if they can't handle, it, we definitely can.
Right.
We don't
So-
have the machinery that they even have.
Right, and we even asked, because the guy that's associated with us owns a trucking company. We said, what if he sends all the trucks? So, well, you could, but we're gonna knock this out. We're gonna have 10 trucks that are at I forget where the foundry or the quarry is that he gets it from, but said I'll have 10 trucks waiting and we'll load and go and load and go in unless you have 10, 15 trucks available, you probably just can't help with
It's
that.
their job, it's their
Yeah.
expertise.
Exactly. So yes, probably like disposing of sod and disposing of fill and that stuff, like that is likely the only area that we could really save a lot on. And I don't know how much realistic it is. It's mostly just, he told us his truck here and I can't remember, but it's basically just that not having to truck it somewhere else. We don't find someone here that we can dump fill.
That's better.
So
than-
would it help if Scott went through my line items and seen how much, not wages, on my regular operating line items, how much under, because I'm gonna be under, every year I'm under 50, 60,000, you know that, I'm never over.
And you're over budgeting.
No, look how much, I have a $2,000 increase
I know where you
this
could
year,
put
my
it.
whole budget. And the last 2 years have been zero.
Sorry, Jason, it's the accountant in me that just came out. I can't help it.
That's fine, take away, but. They want to, I mean, I'm as tight as I can be. I mean, like I said, my budget only increased $2,000 in my line item, so it's not like I'm throwing 2% across the board.
No, and
As tight as
and
possible.
going over, I've been pouring over the line items. Any surplus that it is there is a result of the staff not being there. So there are things that are not being done. So
That's
if there
true.
isn't staff, then you're not using the same amount of diesel and gas. And that means lawns aren't being cut and sidewalks aren't being done. So we're seeing the effects in operations not being done.
And people
as
are
a
being
result.
attacked by wasps. Yeah, we have landscaping issues. I know.
So it is possible that within the operating funds, there are remaining funds that we could utilize for this activity. That would be a result of just things not taking place this year is not because of not having staff.
But I think that's very generous if it's like $5,000 and it's a gift, and even if we have to pass a budget amendment, I think that's still nice to offset it.
And even going back to the fuel, it's not that we're not even using it. It's when we budgeted years ago, we were at $4 or $5, you know, when it hit us hard. Well, luckily I've been seeing zeros across it, but now we're only talking about 270, under $3. So it makes a big difference in a whole year of, especially for us, because we use a lot of fuel. So there's thousands, many thousands that are saved every year just because of but I hate to take it down because we don't know what next year could be. It could be $4 a
Well,
gallon.
what about when you budget for lots of snow and?
Right on, exactly. What did we have last year? One snowfall, one big one. You know what I mean? Like, so it ain't all about not staffing. It's multiple things, like no snow last year. We didn't use any snow. I mean,
You
Things that we have no control
It
over.
could be pummeled, it could be double.
26 might be awful. We don't know. That's why I hate to bring it down. Because you don't know exactly.
If you throw a bunch towards our fields, I can get a couple guys to shovel.
Talk about a trade here.
We'll get some guys.
Better
to
training.
shovel.
Well, I think
Yeah,
we should have Scott look through the budget and figure out if there's something there and we can bring it back at the next committee in the whole meeting in 2 weeks.
Next
Just
week,
see
is
what
it?
the
For
Mac-
next week.
Next
Yeah,
week.
it's next week, yeah. It's back-to-back weeks.
See what the Mac we can, look, I
Yeah.
guess.
Do what we have to work with.
One of the odd
Offer.
months.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, next item, discussion action, SRO contract renewal.
So the chief had initial discussion with the school on the police school liaison officer agreement that is coming due at the end of this year. In the discussion, they were free with, or they agree with essentially extending that agreement for another 2 years, making no other changes within the agreement. You have the current one in your packets. I just changed out some of the dates. But if the council is good with it, we'll go back to the school board and have them approve it so that we can extend the contract.
You're fine with it.
Yeah, it's 100%. I wasn't gonna stray from that.
And this is was this the first or second full year that we did it different than
This
before?
is the first contract that was different because it was a 55-45, and then when I came here, we were shorted. And we changed it to a full 100%. And in my discussions with Dan, I advised him that that was not going to change. And he was happy with our SROs, he's happy with the services we're providing. And no changes other than the years. So
Good.
they're very happy with it and with us.
So do they approve it first and then we do?
Nope.
Or do we-
So we you guys approve it, it'll have to go to council, obviously,
Right.
but once you approve it, he'll send it to their school board meeting, which is Monday. And then they could sign off on it and they can come back to council. That's kind of what we discussed, and come back to council on the 15th, I believe it is, and then you guys can sign off on it, and then you'll be good to go. As long as you approve it tonight, just send it to council.
It still covers the salary appropriately. I know we've got a lot of younger, or I said less seniority, police officers, so that's probably lower wage, but the
So
reimbursement covers wages still appropriately, so you don't
So
need
the
to.
wage covers, Carter's wage and Madison's wage. So those two wages, because they're the only two in the SRO, or in the school. So as their increases go, the rate goes up for them. They
Oh,
get-
it's an automatic. I gotcha. I
Yep.
gotcha. I didn't know if we need to increase the SRO, but it's just an automatic
It's
match.
an automatic match.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
As it goes up, that also covers, if I recall right, Scott, that also covers benefits.
It's
Yeah.
a billable rate based on PSL's wages and benefits.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
we bill them, I think it's monthly we're billing them.
Yes. Yeah, it's
And-
basically pay as they go.
Yeah, so we're billing them monthly with whatever the rate is at that time. If there's an increase, we're letting them know, I believe, 30 days in advance or 2 weeks in advance. So Lori's got all of it worked
15
out.
days. I have it pulled up right here.
Yeah, so we let them know when there's gonna be an increase based on the contract.
Okay.
A motion,
Motion to move the SRO contract renewal.
I'll second.
moved by Norm, second by Kathy. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Discussion action, Sandtech Brownfield Grant Application Reimbursement. Resubmission.
That I was contacted by Stantec about 2 weeks ago. They are getting set for EPA to re-release the next year's guidance. They came back to us and basically said they were willing to work on the resubmission without any additional charges to the city. Since the city had already, I believe in this one, this is their agreement that they had previously with the city. It'll be a no cost, basically extension. We would essentially just be waiting for guidance to come out, make any adjustments to the submission as it currently stands and resubmit. If there's no issues with the council, I'll move forward with working with Stantec on that resubmission.
That's great.
Motion
I'll send the council to move forward with the Stantec resubmission.
moved by Becca,
Second.
second by Dan. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Closed session, action to go into closed session. A motion may be made to move into closed session pursuant section 19.851E. We deliberate on negotiating terms related to sale of public properties, investing of public funds where competitive bargaining reasons is appropriate in the case specifically for the purpose of discussing received offer for the sale of public land.
Make a motion to go in closed session.
Go ahead.
I'll second it.